Now, Yerushalmi Simplified, Meshicha Demai, Daf Chavav, the Mishnah. He wants to chop off some leaves from the vegetable. It's too heavy. He must first take off meiser, because people are going to see it on the street, they're going to eat it, and he has to be worried for that. Because it's already his. He was koine. In the Reisha, it seems he did not do Meshicha yet. The Reisha talking that a keich yod mashik v'nimlach la'achzer. It means he made Meshicha already. The Sefer we're talking that he did not make Meshicha yet. Now we'll see the Gemara. Lo yashluch. It says lo yashluch. Omer ablaze the Demai. The Demai Omer lo yitiru linke Demai el sitten bevad. Demai says the only heter for Demai is for somebody as a wholesaler, not anything else. And here, in this case, we understand that this person is not a wholesaler. He just throws it on the ground. So there's no hat in the world. Any other heterim don't exist. And here it won't be good, because the one that zoiche is going to be zoiche v'dake. V'leis ador plig ad Rameya. The Rameya Omer ki v'she adam mafke dova v'yotzim v'shusaf kere hefke. When nazel botsa shasa shlochosoi, that's when it's a gasa. According to Rameya, you have to go botsa shasa shlocher. So the beginning, the Gemara wants to be matche. The Gemara says, no, it doesn't have to go like her meir. That's why kul alma moide that it's also. Now I'm going to ask him, Rabbi Yossi let's do poligi. Rabbi Yossi Oma eina hefke yetze metachas the abayim ele beschir. Ve'elike shemashlichoi adayim beshusehu v'lo mechayev la'asram. Interesting question. So he's asking, let me first write here, matche. What does he do in a case where he took already from the shelf and he wants to return? Mishnah says he's not allowed to give back unless he's ma'aser. What do you mean? He takes off. He can't steal from the store. He was leaning upon a blazer. I want to clean my teeth. He can't steal small stuff. Brings another example. The kissen, also from wood. gaat kiezen. Macht het chin, gaat om le tithes klum, dem eise kol man schmab, aber sehr kosher kachet, wenn die jetzt shamalon abdin. That's one. Hashem told us to do, we have to do. So, anyway, Gemara doesn't answer what he does. Oh, okay, we'll go get some. Rabbi Glick Kifshuto kana, chase ela mimnele. He doesn't need to count it. So this is just a side note to understand what Mishnah means. The Mishnah ein chase ela minyan. Okay, to do it. Noise lemei achas mehem umasak. So let's say go back to our Mishnah. He took already something and he wants to return it, but he doesn't want to make a mechshel, but he can't take off meiser because then he's stealing. So what is the solution? He pays. So he has a bunch and gives him a quarter. Give me. I want to use this for something. He uses to take off trumas meiser, and I guess meiser sheni. He can just be mechal. So the only thing he really needs is trumas meiser, and then he pays for it. And another problem here, because he put back on the shelf one of them is ptur, now somebody's going to buy a different chover, and he's going to, for him everything is not mu'usser because it's Demai, but he's going to use this to be mafish. It's a special pile. Makes it a pile. So this part that's potter makes a special pile. Now I'm going to ask a different question. Why does he need to take different question now? Because the problem is he had to pay a quarter. It's not going to fix this first problem because we still need the guy to make a tzibur because that part that he put back is already ptur. But let him make it. Why does he need to take anything from the store? Like what does this mean? This is a separate din. It comes into here also because it's adding this nekuda that then you have no problem making it the color. So here, this is the eitzah. He can just run home and be mafish from his house upon the one that he can be mafresh upon the one that he put back in the store shelf. My answer is only when this person sold, then they were sacking for him. He sold something and he forgot. Okay, we say this eitzah. But the story is that he sold and he can't run after the person. But here, who asked him to return it? Let him pay for that piece and that's it. Oh, honey. Yeah, so we say the Gemara explains here that it means bebira, he didn't pick it up yet, because if he picked it up, then he's coin already, he can't return it. Ad kedoin ba'osamin, afila min acher, im hechlet dikich min acher legamre, gankin potem la'asamin avishin sha'ozav shom. Could be that then it's already considered, he can only change his mind, he looks at one thing, another thing, but to say I'm totally getting out of this mean, maybe that's not okay. It's like you have for sure kind of something in this from this kind. Well, has a question on that. Now we'll go to the next Mishnah. Hamoyitza peiris b'derech, not lan la'achlam, v'nibnach latzniya. It's a similar story to before. Before he was in the store. Here we're talking the case where he is finding on the road stuff and he wants to return it back on the floor of the road. Somebody else should take it. The same concept like before. If he never had any kinyan in this, then he is allowed to put it back on the floor. You can't send it as a gift either. Don't think that if you're not selling it, not making money, you don't have to separate the mai. Rabbi says by matona, it's only matona. It's only matona. Is mate bevadai. So doesn't say if it's Amaretz, Chochem. I guess it doesn't matter. If you tell him, then you're allowed to do it. You don't want to pick up food from the street because it could be somebody made kishu for it. We learned Meshicha above a kam. Mishnah says there that he's chai because he was kind of this boyer. Also, he was kohenet and you cannot steal it from him. You didn't want to be zoiche, you just played around with it. It doesn't really matter. Even if you didn't want to be zoiche, you're chayav b'niska because you made the bar. So the question is now that we see in our Mishnah that the person can pick up something and not be mechaber liskas bar, and then he can put it back down on the floor. Doesn't have to care if somebody is gonna eat it. And here we say that the gaben zoken it's a kinyan even if you did not mechaber liskas. Means the one that made the damage, even though he doesn't own it. Never had in mind to pick it up. You don't have to worry about it. What does it mean? So if you give him a small portion, we say usually the klal is if you sell in a small amount of chitim, you need to take off the mai. A large amount you don't need. So the same thing, you want to send a gift, a large amount you're allowed. So by vadai, he says no problem. Vadai is better than the mai in this regard. And talking again by matona. Matona, there's a din that you're allowed to give bevadai even though it's midadake. That by mecher you're allowed to. But matona, by mecher you need to separate. And matona b'mater oiseh b'dmai means bedaka. What means oiseh b'dmai? Obviously on bedaka because it cannot be worse than mecher. But say you cannot be moicher, you cannot give matona. But even mecher you can give bedgase, well then you can give the mai. However, bevadai he's matter even midadake because that's a special chiddush of Yossi by matona only. This chiddush that you're allowed to give ha'ma'aretz vadai, and even though it's midadake, ordinarily you'd be chayav to separate. But since you're giving it bevadai and it's matona, that you need to add. What means they do, right? In order to make it happen, means if you make it too strict, then the whole thing is going to fall apart. You cannot. You have to, in order to make this Xeris Demai a viable thing, it should be sustainable. That's why we have to say begasa, where the person makes very little money and he sells a lot, he doesn't make a lot of revachim. So there, if you tell him to separate, he has a very low margin on his on his how much it costs him. So that's why we cannot be matrichim to separate the mai. Du musst nicht. Rabbi Yossi mesalat ein mesalat nov bekusha yerkos mashu moichav achsera potter. It says the same Mishnah that's called medegase. Hashem megamli al shalach Rabbi Yossi be'Rabbi Esrig umali. Zeh ba liyodim mikisra. Rabbi Yossi sent a gift from Hashem megamli al Esrig, and he says it comes from Caesarea. V'hu vadai. V'hu tamei. He told him this statement. He told for Rabbi Yossi these three things. Number one, you should know this Esrig comes from Caesarea. Number two, it's vadai. It means it's not Demai, it's 100% tevel. Number three, v'hu tamei, v'loi ba liyadi acher. That's what this message, it's fourth stuff. Where it comes from, vadai, tamei, ba liyadi acher. V'marati by gimel devam, shu vadai, she peiris kusrin vadai. Shu tamei, she mabitzen of ma'im. I learned the fact that they used to wash it with water. What is he trying to say with that? He's trying to say that really I'm not doing such a right thing. I'm not supposed to send and take out of my hand something that's tevel. But even a chaver is not allowed to send for another chaver. Even a chaver is not allowed to send for a chaver. Something that's not mu'usser. But I had no choice. I couldn't cut it. I didn't want to slice the esrog. But we're not talking about esrog shel mitzvah. So Gemara asks, why can't he just slice off a piece? Gemara says back apart. So l'chayre, what is he trying to say? That he had no choice? It's a clear Mishnah that you're allowed to send vadai, vat. It means, we said it means by Amar, it's l'chayr. But by a chaver, you're allowed to send the vadai. Vadai is easier than the mai. The mai you cannot send. But vadai you could send if you're media, if you're media. And we're talking about matana here. If you assume Rabbi Yossi don't talk about matana. Rabbi Yossi says you're allowed to send vadai by matana. No problem. What is he trying to teach you? No. He wasn't. Rabbi Yossi, the same Rabbi Yossi. So the story goes, Rabbi Yossi sent, he wanted to show, I'm not going to pass like my own words, even though I hold it's okay. Isn't it, we had before already that a lot of fruits are mutter bekisri, because we figured out that if it grows locally there, it doesn't need, it's chutzlar, it's only if it comes from outside. So what's the whole deal with this esrog? Before Rabbi's times, people, the Tanam held that kisri is Eretz Yisrael. Rabbi was pasking that kisri is not Eretz Yisrael. That's why esrog would be mitter. But before Rabbi's times, it was considered asr. And this is the end of Daf Chof Ches. His Hashem is Baruch Chof Zayin and Chof Ches. Chof Zayin and Chof Ches.